Good morning. Welcome to our materials and sustainable energy drop-in for postgraduates. I have a large panel of speakers with me today who represent different parts of materials at Queen Mary and also sustainable energy. Here we have students and we also have academics who are here to answer questions about these programs. My name is Holly and I am the Student Recruitment and Marketing Manager here at the School of Engineering and Materials Science. It would be nice to go around the room and just get some brief introductions from who I'm joined by. Anyone want to go first?
Yeah. So my name is Ana Sobrido, a professor of Sustainable Energy Materials at Queen Mary, and I'm also research director for the Sustainable Engineering Center. So my research and also I teach a module of electrochemical energy storage systems, a postgraduate module.
Thank you. Maybe we can move to Paul.
Hello, my name is Paul. I studied the MSc Sustainable Energy Systems here at Queen Mary. I have a background in mechanical engineering and I'm doing my MSc now here in London and I really enjoyed it so far.
Great. Haibao.
Thank you, Holly. Hello, I'm Haibao. I'm a lecturer in aerospace engineering. Currently, I'm contributing to the outreach activities in materials. Yeah, nice to meet you.
And Vasiliki, finally.
I'm doing my master's in Polymer Science and Engineering, and my research is on biomaterials, and I have my undergraduate in chemistry.
Lovely. And Michael is our moderator. I don't know if you want to say anything, but Michael is going to be here doing our very important job of moderating the call today. So hello, Michael. I have a few starting questions and then we can move to the floor if anybody has any questions in the room. So first of all, this question will go to a few people. Would you mind giving a quick overview of the programs that relate to you at Queen Mary? So perhaps firstly we can go to Haibao, who is going to tell us about the Advanced Materials program.
I got a few slides. Probably I just go through some of them, and students can get a flavor of this module program. Yeah. So
please do. If it can be brief, that would be fantastic because we have quite a few to cover today.
Just a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Great. Please feel free to share.
Yeah, I think these slides I got them for another activity. I think so, but it's related to this material module. So we have a very long history about this, material.
Oh, I think you've muted yourself.
I lost the connection, I think. Yeah.
Oh dear, sorry about that. We lost your slides also.
Is that okay now?
Yeah,
okay.
They're back.
Yeah, it's the first material department in the UK. It was established in 1967. And we have a very active research, and which can inform the teaching. So we have this, staff in this school, and all these, academic can support your study with the exams. So do feel free to contact the academic to seek any support. So as appropriate. We also have a series of facilities to support your lab activities during your study, during the students' study. And we have the 3 compulsory modules, as you can see in the slide. And we have 4 elective modules from these 10 modules you can select. So they are not compulsory, but they are selective. And we have the accreditation procedure after graduation. So the new accreditation procedure, I think, is in progress as far as I know, but it may be done already. So these are the slides I have got. Hopefully give you some flavor quickly. Yeah. Is that okay, Holly?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And while we're on the topic of materials, perhaps Vasiliki can just tell us a brief summary of what you're doing on the Advanced Polymer Science and Engineering program.
Yeah, so I have 6 modules in total for the year, and my program is set so they were all compulsory. So I start with 3 modules in the first semester and 3 modules in the other half of the term. And I also have my research project, which will be half of my total grade. So I am doing this research project throughout the year, and I'm finishing it in late August.
Great. And what kinds of areas are you studying? It's very specialized, your program, I believe.
Yeah, so it's all of my modules have something related to polymer materials. So in my first semester, I had macromolecular engineering, which is like how to synthesize macromolecules and polymers. And I had another module on nanotechnology, so learned like fabrication methods. And then I had a mechanical testing module, which was something new to me. It was more towards mechanical engineering. And then this semester I had from ranging from the solar engineering, and then we had an ethics module which covered ethics, environment, and economics of engineering design. So that's pretty good for like project management skills. And my other module was on nanocomposites, so that involves like a polymer matrix and other materials.
Thanks very much. Moving over to Paul, our sustainable energy student, would you mind giving us a brief overview of what you're doing on your program?
Yes, it's actually quite similar. So I also have 6 modules and then a research project, which makes 50% of my total grade. And the 6 modules, 3 of them are compulsory, and then 3 of them you can select from a list. So my modules were renewable energy sources, electrochemical energy storage, and systems engineering in the first term. And now in this term, I have solar energy or the solar engineering and renewable fuels, and also the ethics module. I think must be the same. And my research is on fast charging lithium-ion batteries. And I really like that in general, the modules are quite broad and give you quite a good overview of the whole topic of sustainable energy systems. And then in your research project, you can really focus and specialize in one thing you're interested in.
Great. Anna, would you have anything to add on what students look at?
Yeah, so essentially, Bob, highlighting again what Paul says. So, what you have in this postgraduate program is that it really offers the opportunity for students to just study advanced specialized topics that are related to issues to tackle in the area, in this case, sustainable energy. So yeah, in that sense, you are during the modules and the studying of during the first and second semester, you're in touch with I guess more fundamentals, but also applying it to or giving examples of of fundamentals that you learn, and then also then you have the opportunity to get in the lab and do experiments and apply the knowledge that you have acquired during those modules.
Thanks very much. So a big topic in a master's is the individual project, and this is one that students often have a lot of questions about how it works. May we go to our academic speakers to find out how do the projects work? How do students pick their topics? Would anything be off limits? Maybe Haibao, you can firstly talk about materials.
Holly, it was a little bit cut off. Can you just repeat what you said? Sorry.
Yes, of course. So just asking about individual projects for materials, how might students go about picking their topic? is anything off limits to them? Would you mind explaining that process?
Oh, I think the general procedure is we have academic who propose quite a couple of research topics. It will be like in a poll, and then students can select as they are they have to fit their interests, and of course sometimes quite a few students may choose the same project. Then we do have a system or communication system to accommodate students to appropriate one. It's like you will finally find a suitable project for your study. And during the project, you will have the regular meeting, or we say routine meetings with the supervisor to support you throughout the whole project. It's pretty much like a individual research project, which give you the chance to carry out a topic, and you will be more like a fully independent, but will have sufficient support from the academic, from the school. So if you have this chance, probably you have the the idea about how to do a PhD. Probably you don't want to do it, but you get the flavor like it's a mini PhD project, something like that. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you. And Anna, do you have anything to add on this topic?
Yeah, so mostly what it's been said already. So essentially, you will be assigned a project out of a pool. That doesn't mean that if you are more interested in another topic, you can also come to an academic and suggest a topic. And I think if it's within the expertise and facilities and capabilities in the lab to support that, I'm sure that any academic will do. So we do like proactivity from the students, and if they come with something they're interested in, yeah, we definitely support that. So I guess a bit more on what it consists of. You usually will have period of a few months where you be dedicated to do like literature reviews. So really looking into what the state of the art is on your topic that you're going to be researching, and then you'll have to submit a report on that, and then following that. Then you will be sort of having the second part of a project will be in the lab, or depending if it's computational or otherwise, then there'll be different aspects to it. But in general, then you will go into producing data and analyzing it and getting results. And yes, also your supervisor will be sort of holding meetings with you weekly, or depending on sometimes more than weekly, depending on what the needs are. And obviously another thing that I think is interesting and positive is that you will be involved in a group, a research group as well. So you'll be interacting with PhD students, postdocs that will be also supervising you in the lab, if you like. So that's also, I think, quite positive from a point of view of getting involved in a group and be part of a team. So yeah,
thank you.
That's more or less.
And is it normally advised that the student chooses something from research that's already being done at the university, or can they have their own ideas as to what they want to look at in the project?
I think it's within a range. It is good that they are new ideas, but also obviously advise that the links to activities that are already done at the university and in that particular group they're joining. Otherwise, things can become really slow, and knowing that you have just a limited amount of time to do research and to do activities. If you have to sort of incorporate a new skill in the group, that might actually be not feasible, depending on what it is and depending on how keen the student is. So there are students that come to the lab once a week. some of us come every day. So it's depending on what your availability is and how much you want to get involved in the experimental part of your project, that is going to then inform what the outcome and how much can you achieve. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was really helpful. So I was wondering if I could head to our students now to ask a little bit about how practical your programs are. Are you spending a lot of time in labs doing hands-on stuff versus lectures? It would be nice to hear about that split. Perhaps we can go to Paul firstly for sustainable energy.
Yeah, so my research project is quite lab-based. So I actually spent a lot of time in the lab, which was at times so when we have, during the term, when you have lectures, you have to kind of work on your time management to schedule all that. But now I have my last exam on Wednesday, and then I can fully focus on my research project until the end of August. I'm really excited for that, to just be able to focus on one thing. And I had great supervision from my supervisor. He really helped me a lot to get started in the lab, to learn all the necessary skills. And I am actually involved in a group. So I would usually go with another PhD student, and she would supervise me in the lab. So my supervisor does not actually go to the lab with me, but then I just discuss the results and the data. And this has been working quite well so far. And
Good.
another aspect maybe about the whole project and how it's scheduled, it's quite nice that you have different smaller submissions. So it's not just the whole report you submit at the end, which is 100% of the mark. But up until now, we have about 45% done already with different reports and REO posters. So you're guided quite nicely through the whole project just by this individual submissions.
Great. Well, I wish you the best with continuing that as you really get into being really busy with it, I'm sure, over the next few weeks. Vasiliki, how about you for practicality of your degree, or maybe you want to talk a little bit about your project and how you're using facilities in relation to that?
Yeah, so mine as well is very lab-based because I have to synthesize bioemulsions, and I'll be using those emulsions, and maybe at the end I'm gonna do some cell growth on them and see how they interact with my bioemulsions and my organohydrogels. And this will be for tissue engineering applications. So I started going to the lab after my first semester exams around end of January, and it was when the second semester was happening, so it was balancing that with going to lectures. So it would be like going to lectures and then after that going to the lab for a few hours, depending on how long the experiment would take. It could take like 3 hours, sometimes it could take 5 hours, 6, or even less, depending on what I wanted to do in the day. And yeah, I've had a break. I had a small break now to prepare for these exams. So my last exam as well is on Wednesday. So after that exam, I'll continue again with my schedule, just probably going every day to the lab, getting my data, and then writing more of my report. And yeah, the university has given us good guidance to get into more of the research of the background literature, because we have all these like activities like writing a small literature review or doing a poster with the aims and objectives. So it helps us push us as well to work on this and study more about our individual projects, as well as going to our lectures and doing other assessments. So I think it's been a good balance.
Have you found that manageable as well, you think?
Yeah, surprisingly, I found it manageable. I think because it is only 3 modules, it does help. So like undergraduate usually is 6 modules per semester, and that would be a lot to do a whole project as well. But because it's 3 modules, it is more manageable.
Thank you. That kind of leads into a question that I was going to ask. So maybe Paul can give his thoughts on this. But how have you found masters different from undergrad? I know you did something else for your undergrad, so yours is probably quite different. But in terms of the experience, do you have any differences people can expect?
Yeah, I did mechanical engineering management in my undergrad, and I really prefer the masters, to be honest. It's much more application based. It's much more closer to cutting edge technologies, especially sustainable energy systems. There's so much going on in research currently, and it's quite nice to read the news or read something and you actually just studied about that and you know what this is connected to. And also, so we have for all the modules, it's about 50% to do some report or some coursework, and 50% roughly is an exam. And I feel like, especially in the coursework, you can really study a lot and learn a lot about this specific topic, because you have a lot of time to just read and actually do something practical, which I really enjoy.
Great, thank you. And I don't know if anybody wants to come in on the kinds of facilities that we have here for our postgraduates in these areas, such as materials and sustainable energy. Does anyone want to jump in with a few facilities? Paul, you're unmuted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using the electrochemical lab, so I'm actually building batteries and testing them, and I use the SEM, so microscope, and XRD. I'm hoping to use this is in the working right now. So there is quite a lot of facilities, but I obviously only know the ones that I will be using for my MSc project. Maybe the academics know a bit more about that.
Anna, do you want to come in on sustainable while we're talking about that?
Yeah, so yeah, in terms of facilities in the lab, so Paul was mentioning that we have a whole electrochemical characterization lab, which is equipped with a lot of everything is actually shared as well. So I have like a number, hopefully like 8-9 potential stats, which everyone is welcome to use. We have, and those are key to measure electrochemical properties of materials that are involved in batteries or electrocatalysts for fuel cells, water electrolyzers, so all related to green energy technologies. And then along with that, we also have specific characterization facilities for materials in general, perhaps not so much of sustainable energy, but more general also just for materials engineering. So as Paul was mentioning, X-ray diffraction, we have a few equipments and one new one as well that is quite innovative, can do walks and sacks as well, so small angle and wide angle measurements, so give you different ideas, so different scale of ordering in your materials, which can be really interesting for materials and in particular for energy. Then we have XPS. So we have all the nanovision, which include all the electron microscopies, so high resolution TM, SEM, we have AFM, we have a FIB SEM as well. And then in terms of more material characterization, optoelectronic properties, we have UV visible spectroscopies. We have also a infrared as well. So a variety of facilities to test and to characterize the materials in terms of structural optoelectronic properties, and then more advanced properties depending on what the application is.
Great, thanks so much. You've gone over a lot in relation to everyone in the room here. And just picking back up, I know Vasiliki, you said that you use the tissue engineering stuff. That's technically biomedical kind of stuff, isn't it? But it's nice that if you are doing something like that for your project, that those facilities are open to you as well.
Yeah, so it's based on who your supervisor is and what their field is. And my supervisor is based on like biomaterials and does a lot of research on tissue engineering applications. So yeah, I was assigned a project similar to this.
Great. So I think we're just getting ready to close off our discussion today. It's been really helpful. I wonder whether our academics can give a brief overview of what careers students could expect to do after pursuing each subject area. So maybe Haibao, would you like to talk about materials generally?
Yeah, I mean, actually for materials, we have a very, if you are studying materials, basically you will have a very, how to say the big possibility to find the different positions in different sectors, because for example, aerospace or automotive, they must use a material to manufacture the structures. So if you study materials, basically you can find your knowledge can be applied to those sectors, or even the sustainable energy. We manufacture the equipment to harvest the green energy. Then, for example, the wind turbine blades. So if you study materials, then you know what materials should be used for manufacturing, and so it's pretty wide, range to find the application. Of course, engineering is not the only possibility. You can also go into probably consultancy, because it's a kind of something like a more soft area. It's not really closely or directly related to manufacturing or engineering application. Then material science. So for companies, I can nominate a few names. So a possibility employer. Of course, we have Airbus here. We have GKN. So they are mainly about aerospace, and we also have Siemens about the wind turbine blades. So they are also related to materials. Because all I want to say, because the material innovation is very active, is still going on, actively. So if we study advanced materials, then definitely you will find there are a lot of opportunities. So yeah.
Thanks very much. And Anna, for sustainable energy?
Yeah, so I guess a little bit similar. So there's different options here. So consultancy is one that it's out there. So actually, I know quite a few friends that study career with me that go into doing that job. It's really well paid, and it's a lot of companies now that are implementing sustainability in their companies, so they do need consultancy in that way. So then obviously an engineer that works into companies related to from battery development or battery systems to solar panels and so on. So that's another option. Another option that is always something that I like to offer as well is a PhD. continuing doing research and developing even more skills and really going deeper into a more specialized topic for like 4 years. That's also something that can be quite appealing to some. Obviously, a PhD might not pay as well as a company would do, but it can be rewarding in other ways, and hopefully, after the PhD, then there are more opportunities as well, and more options open. So yeah, and in general, I think sustainable and energy systems in general is a very upcoming sort of topic. So there's a lot of interest in developing alternative or cheaper manufacturing ways of developing energy devices, but also how to test those and how to implement ways of developing that industry in the UK in particular. So yeah, I think I'm like just talking, but it's a good career or a good sort of program to study, and that there's definitely opportunities in different areas.
Thank you. It's all useful. We don't seem to have any questions from the floor. So on that note, I think we will conclude our drop-in. This is very helpful. It will be sent out to all the registrants for future, and also we can keep this on hand to share with others who want to dive into these subject areas. Thanks everybody for taking part. I don't know if you have any closing remarks, but if you do, feel free to give them. If not, we shall end.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, our